Hey, Shalom, Shalom. I can first and foremost call hello, Yahweh, Shem Shah, Shimmer Dash. Double honors go out to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, who through the Holy Spirit continue to teach us His truth. All right. This is Nama of the DC camp, and wouldn't you know, this is from the Washington Post, pretty much fresh off the press. It says, as if we didn't already know this, but it's good to have it in print. All right, it says killings by police are undercounted by more than half, new study says. All right, you got their, hero here, George Floyd. All right, it goes on to say more than half police killings in the United States over the past 40 years have been mislabeled, according to a new study. Again, this is not like it's something we didn't know. All right. It says, leading to a stark undercount of deaths at the hands of officers and a lopsided perception of what experts say is a public health crisis. Researchers, but that's only because it's us. All right. And that's why we're out there on the highways and byways, and we're telling you, trying to wake you up to who you really are, who you should be praying to. The Most High's name is Yahweh, and His Son's name is Yahweh Shah. And you have to go through Yahweh Shah. All right. He's the mediator. He's the one that died for us. He's the one that died for our sins. All right. It says more than 55% of 31,000 deaths attributed to police violence were assigned other causes in official federal death data. Black men are killed by police at disproportionately high rates. And we know this is because, right, they so-called, well, not so-called, but, that's been the case ever since. You remember when you remember what did Esau say about his brother Jacob? Let's go to Genesis. I encourage those who view this to read Genesis 25th chapter from 19 on. Read the whole thing, but the story point that I'm getting to starts at verse 19 in the chapter, when Jacob and Esau were born. All right. And, Esau sold his birthright. And when you get to 27, all right, it says here, Jacob's deception, blah, 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 blah. This is all done in the spirit. If not, it would have been corrected. But you can see when we fast forward to what's happening now, and of course the wording here is the stolen blessing. All right. But in 25, he sold his birthright. And in 27 here, I'm going to start at 38. It says, and Esau said unto his father, hast thou but one blessing, my father? Bless me, even me also, O my father. And Esau lifted up his voice and wept. And Isaac his father answered and said unto him, behold, thy dwelling shall be the fatness of the earth. What is it saying here? It's saying that, well, let's go into it. And this, who is this talking about? Once I get into it, I don't see how you can come to any other conclusion. This is fatness. And it is Strong's H4924, Mashapam. Fatness, fat piece, fertile place, richly prepared food. In other words, he'll have the best of everything. All right, stout, vigorous, fertile spots or places. All right. And that's what he do. But how will he acquire this? And that's, again, will lead you to who is it talking about here? All right. It says, and Isaac his father answered and said unto him, behold, thy dwelling shall be the fatness of the earth, and of the dew of heaven from above. And by thy sword shalt thou live, and shalt serve thy brother. And it shall come to pass, when thou shalt have the dominion, that thou shalt break his yoke from off thy neck. All right. And when did that happen? King David, well, he hated Edomites, so-called white people. He hated them. If you remember the story of King Amaziah in 2 Chronicles 25th chapter, he would gather a bunch of them up and just throw them off the cliffs. And he got off on them watching their bodies break up at the bottom of the cliffs. All right, and then that fool ended up worshiping their gods. But the thing is, there was never a good relationship between Israel, which is us, and the so-called white man, which is the nation of Edom, the descendants of this individual here, Esau, brother of Jacob. All right, verse 41, and it says, and Esau hated Jacob because of the blessing wherewith his father blessed him. And Esau said in his heart, the days of mourning for my father are at hand. Then will I slay my brother Jacob. And there's been a war between the two. All right, with us coming out on the short end of it because of Esau's blessing, which is a sword. And that's just parabolic for weapons of destruction, weapons of war. On any scale, everybody has to go to this man to learn how to make weapons, to learn the art of war and all that. And if you disagree, you're lying to yourself. The facts are the facts. All right. Again, it says black men are killed by police at disproportionately high rates, and their deaths are mislabeled at higher rates than for any other race. Because for so long, especially on this side, in the Western Hemisphere, he's gotten away with so much, and he's killed us with impunity. All right? And he's been allowed to do so. It's only now, with the way technology is, that everybody's got a cell phone with a camera in it, and this is things that we've said all along, but nobody believes us. All right? So let's look at that word impunity. All right, and it means exemption from punishment or freedom from the injurious consequences of an action. Oh, I don't know, murder, lynchings, and everything in between, or up until that. All right. Even what? Let's go to what? Ho Chi Minh. Let's see. Yes, that Ho Chi Minh. Ho Chi Minh. Let's see. Here it is. Quote by Ho Chi Minh. It says, it is well known. He said it is well known. It's not a rumor or what's that phrase they have now? Conspiracy theory. There is a conspiracy, Psalms 83. All right. But it's not theory. This is facts. It said it is well known that the black race is the, well, let me go ahead. And this is from Goodreads.com. And here's Ho Chi Minh. All right. It says, it is well known that the black race is the most oppressed and most exploited of the human family. And that black should be replaced by Hebrews. All right. Hebrew Israelites, it is. It said, it is well known that the spread of capitalism, Salaki there, it is well known that the spread of capitalism and the discovery of the New World had as an immediate result the rebirth of slavery, which was for centuries a scourge for the Negroes and a bitter disgrace for mankind. What everyone does not perhaps know is that after 65 years of so-called emancipation, American Negroes still endure atrocious moral. Now, 65 years after, so this is during, because a lot of people are unaware that he hung around Marcus Garvey and jakes like that. So he's talking about 65 years. So this is around, let's see, 1930. All right, it says, anyway, what everyone does not perhaps know is that after 65 years of so-called emancipation, American Negroes still endure atrocious moral and material sufferings, of which the most cruel and horrible is the custom of lynching. You remember that movie? Uh, let's see. Uh, Dang it! I was just watching a clip of it the other day. It came out in '95. Dead Presidents. That scene where they castrated that Edomite, and they left that, put his shit in his mouth, and they left that note, and it told him, said, "Black man, go home. This is not your war." That's why. They knew. All right. So let's go back. Let's see. Here it is. It says, what did I leave out? Oh, okay, it says the study underscores a grim reality. Despite years of scrutiny, criticism, protests, and calls for reform, no government agency tracks how often law enforcement officers in America kill people. All right? Why? You got to ask yourself. Why is that? Why? It says since 2015, the Washington Post has been counting how often on-duty police shoot and kill people. But there is no comprehensive federal attempt to keep track of these deaths or other uses of force by law enforcement, including chokeholds and non-fatal shootings. So you got to also understand that up until I think it was 2019, there was nothing as far as anti-lynching laws. All right, and for those of you, that are unaware of what's going on while we're making videos like this, and then you have, what was it, last year around this time, they pushed through that law against, what was it, anti-Asian, anti-hate, some shit. All right, this is why. This is why we need to get the fuck up out of here. That's why I read, Genesis 27th chapter, to let you know what's going on. This is spiritual warfare. This is the way it's set up. All right, between those who are supposed to represent righteousness and those that represent wickedness. They are the wicked. Malachi, first chapter, all right, verses 1 through 4. The point is in 4. They are the border of wickedness. They are the wicked. This is about balance. You have to have one or the other. And let me get this so you'll understand better. Let's see. This is Sirach 33. If you can't understand the way this is, this is just straightforward. This is Sirach or Ecclesiasticus. And yes, this is originally included in the Bible. They took it out because it gives names as to who is who. All right, and they couldn't have that. This is Sirach or Ecclesiasticus chapter 33. I will start at 10. It says, and all men are from the ground, and Adam was created of earth. Hence his name in the Hebrew Adamah, which means of the ground. All right, in much knowledge the Most High hath divided them and made their ways diverse. Some of them hath he blessed and exalted, and some of them he sanctified and set near himself. But some of them hath he cursed and brought low and turned out of their places. 13. As the clay is in the potter's hand to fashion it as his pleasure, so man is in the hand of him that made him to render to them as liketh him best. All right, and this links right up with Romans 9th chapter, around the 20th verse. It says 14, the Most High, it says, this is the point. 14, it says, good is set against evil, and life against death. So is the godly against the sinner, and the sinner against the godly. That's how this is set up. All right. So look upon all the works of the Most High, and there are two and two, one against another. Now let's go to Isaiah 45, since you might still be in unbelief. No problem. All right, this is Isaiah chapter 45, verse 7. It says, this is the Most High. It says, I form the light and create darkness. I make peace and create evil. I, the Most High Yahweh, do all these things. All right. See, still not convinced. Let's go to, I believe it's First Kings. Let's go. Maybe it's 22. Hold on. Oh, let's see. Yeah. All right. This is, remember, the verse I just read. I, the Most High. All right. He creates both. He's over both. All right. And remember Sirach 33rd chapter. All right. This is 1 Kings 22 and 19. It says, and he said, this is concerning Ahab. You know, Most High didn't like this. You know, even though he's Israelite, but he's married to that wicked Canaanite Jezebel. And he said, hear thou therefore the word of the Most High Yahweh. I saw the Most High Yahweh sitting on his throne, and all the host of heaven standing by him on his right hand and on his left. And the Most High Yahweh said, who shall, he's talking to the angels now, he said, who shall persuade Ahab that he may go up and fall at Ramoth Gilead? And one said on this manner, and another said on that manner. All right? Meaning said, you know, Most High, I'll do this. Another one will come up, I'll do it this way, I'll do it this way, you know, etc., etc. Verse 21, and there came forth a spirit and stood before the Most High Yahweh and said, I will persuade him. 22, and the Most High said unto him, wherewith? And he said, I will go forth, and I will be a lying spirit in the mouth of all his prophets. And he said, thou shalt persuade him, and prevail also. Go forth and do so. Now, for those of you that read Job 1st and 2nd chapters and think that Satan is, you know, somehow equal to the Most High, no. Remember, in that chapter, in those chapters, he had to have permission. This is what he was created to do. All right? He's on the left-hand side. He controls those wicked spirits. They are evil. The angels are just evil angels, but they both work for and serve the Most High. There you go. Now, back to this. So here we have a people, like I said, they've come after us for so long with impunity, never having to answer for what they've done. And this is why you have a lot, you know, that coupled with this pandemic. Man, a lot of people, and I'm not sorry, a lot of people leave these police and sheriff departments. All right, because they just can't treat Negroes like they used to and get away with it. It goes on to say, high-profile police killings over the past several years, such as that of George Floyd in May 2020, have led to nationwide calls for police reform and an examination of why black men are disproportionately killed during police encounters. Now, that's not letting our people totally off the hook, because there's a way you're supposed to. Now, you know that they're just looking for some excuse. All right, and this is why this scripture is here. And Jake's just, whew. Let's go there. This is Matthew 5th chapter. Let's scroll on down to 25. Pure and simple. Agree with thine adversary quickly, whilst thou art in the way with him, lest at any time the adversary deliver thee to the judge, and the judge deliver thee to the officer, and thou be cast into prison. Now, here's the thing. If any of you remember the O.J. Simpson trial, you remember, I believe it was Johnny Cochran's closing, and he made the point, and it's an excellent point to bring up now. And that's why I brought up this scripture. The police on the street is the judge, jury, and execution. All right, he can end it right there. So he don't have to go through, it says, deliver thee to the officer and thou be cast into prison, judge and all that. And that's the point Johnny Cochran has made. And in so many cases, some of these officers will try to abate you, all right, get you to do something stupid so they can be justified. Think of the incident down there in Dallas with, what's her name, Amber Geiger. You go into somebody else's residence, all right, and you end up shooting that person in their own home, and then almost get justified for doing so. And to compound the situation, the relatives, because of Christianity, get up there and just, the coonery was just, oh my goodness. Couldn't bear to watch it. All right. So this is another reason why we're out here on highways and byways, because Christianity has nothing to do with what's in the Bible. All right. And you might think that's a bold statement. Okay. You're up there listening to what the slave master gave to us. Again, and that contributed to with the level of impunity, if you understand what I'm saying. Oh, just turn the other cheek. It doesn't say that. That's not talking about with your enemy. That's talking about with your own people, which is ironic when you think about it, because that goes into, let me get this, Zechariah. We're under the curses. This is 11. All right. Deuteronomy 28 chapter. It says, Zechariah 11 and 14. This is what the Most High did. Then I cut asunder mine other staff, even bands, that I might break the brotherhood between Judah and Israel, even amongst our own people. All right. Both southern and northern kingdoms, respectively. All right. But you got your way, all right, to get along with your mortal enemy. And let's look that up. Mortal enemy. This stuff you just can't make up. Now, you remember I read Genesis 27, 38 through 41. All right, this is mortal enemy. Definition of mortal enemy: someone who hates very much and for a long time. All right, but it goes deeper than that. Let's see. Let's go free dictionary. Let's see. Here we go. Here it is. Straight to the point. An enemy who wants to kill you. An enemy, I just want that to sink in. An enemy who wants to kill you. Eugenics, Planned Parenthood, various drugs, legal and so-called legal and illegal. Still struggling at the day with this jibber jabber juice. All right. Telling you, what was it, 87 homeopathic practitioners that were killed. What was it, from 2015 to 2017? 87. At least one took a casual stroll off 20-story, out of a 20-story window. Another one, she had a bag over her head. She was suffocated. All right, because they want you to use their poison, their so-called medicines. All right. right? The scriptures even go with that. There, medicines that come up from the earth that are for us, but they don't want it because they want us to depend on them. All right, and a lot of these things are killing people, such as this jab. All right, again, mortal enemy. This is who we're dealing with. And as such, let's go. Got to get this. All right. This is Ezekiel 35:1. It says, prophecy or prophecy against Mount Seir. Moreover, the word of the Most High Yahweh came unto me, saying, Son of man, set thy face against Mount Seir and prophesy against it. Now, this, for those of you that don't know what I'm talking about, let's go to Mount Seir. This is the region where Esau is from. All right. Wait a minute. See this? The caves. And this is going to be very important in understanding who we're dealing with now. You see this? All right, this. Now, let me put in Petra. Now it should be sinking in. Let's go right here. Because this is the same architecture. This is like over 3,000 years ago, people. All right. And this is the same architecture of the Greeks, the Romans, and what they use today. This is where Edom, Esau dwelt. And what's that? Got it. Let me see if I can get it closer. What's their symbol? Let me see if I can find a good one. Let's see. Is it this one? Hold on. You got your eagles. Oh no, wait a minute. Let's see. Where is it? Well, it's to show you that even to this day, their symbol is the eagle. Where the heck is it? Is that them there? No. Oh. But again, this is in their spirit. All right. This is what this is getting into. And say unto it, Thus saith the Most High Yahweh, Behold, O Mount Seir, I am against thee, and I will stretch out my hand against thee, and I will make thee most desolate. I will lay thy cities waste, and thou shalt be desolate, and thou shalt know that I am the Most High Yahweh. Because thou hast had, and here's the point, because thou hast had a perpetual hatred, and hast shed the blood of the children of Israel by the force of the sword in the time of their calamity, in Babylon, and that's why I showed you this place. It says, in the time that their iniquity had it in, Obadiah also addresses this. Therefore, as I live, saith the Most High Yahweh, I will prepare thee unto blood, and blood shall pursue thee. Saith thou hast not hated blood, even blood shall pursue thee. Thus I will make Mount Seir most desolate, and cut off from it him that passeth out, and him that returneth. And I will fill his mountains with his slain men, and thy hills, and in thy valleys, and in all thy rivers shall they fall that are slain with the sword. I will make thee perpetual desolations, and thy cities shall not return, and ye shall know that I am the Most High Yahweh. And that culminates in Obadiah verse 18. Because thou hast said, these two nations and these two countries shall be mine. He's talking about northern kingdom Israelites and southern kingdom. And we will possess it, whereas the Most High Yahweh was there. All right. He says, therefore, as I live, saith the Most High Yahweh, I will even do according to thine anger and according to thine envy, which thou hast used out of thy hatred against them. And I will make myself known among them when I have judged thee. All right. So don't look too good. It's not going to be a good time to be an Edomite here very shortly. All right. It says police and medical examiner initially attributed Floyd's death to drug use. Of course they did. And underlying conditions, despite bystander videos showing former police officers. See what I'm saying? With all the evidence, they still tried to. What I say about this technology? All right. It says video showing former police officer Derek Chauvin kneeling on Floyd's neck and back for more than 9 minutes. Chauvin was found guilty of murder and manslaughter in April. The study compared decades of data from the National Vital Statistics System, which tracks births and deaths, to 3 databases that track police violence: Fatal Encounters, Mapping Police Violence, and the Guardians That Counted. The database sifts through news reports and public records for instances of people killed during police encounters. Mohsen Nagavi, the study's senior author, told the Post that it is critical, all right, to look beyond the incomplete data provided by government agencies. Here, the role of the media is very important, he said. If we didn't have the media, we wouldn't have open source data. It says, noting the striking discrepancy between the study findings and the government's data, the authors call for public health officials and researchers to swiftly adopt open source data collection initiatives to provide accurate estimates and advocate for policy changes to address this long neglected public health crisis. You know, don't hold your breath. That's all I'm going to say. Researchers identified places where misclassification of deaths often occurred, noting that medical examiners or coroners, who must fill out the cause of death when there is suspicion of foul play, including police violence, can be embedded in or work for police departments. Exactly. There was a book I read years ago. It was called The Great Mississippi Flood of 1927 and How It Changed America. And there's a section there addressing issues with all the immigrants coming in, after the turn of the 20th century. And so we're talking about between, 1901 and, World War I years. And in this particular instance, there was a German immigrant that ran a newspaper. And the American Edomites didn't like him. So what they did, they rushed through his office, pillaging and plundering his place, dragged him out, stripped him butt naked, beat him to a pulp, totally castrated him, and he begged them, please kill me. Now, this is a white man, bear in mind. They strung him up, and then they riddled his body with bullets. So they called the coroner in, and guess what his determination was? Guess what his finding was? He said it was suicide. Shit you not. So this is what we've been dealing with all this time. Again, what I just told you was an Edomite, so-called white man. By looks anyway. All right, so it says, if the medical examiner, coroner, or other certifier fails to indicate police involvement in the cause of death or on the death certificate, the incident could be misclassified. And that's the truth. Plain and simple, that's the way it works. Depending on who you have as the medical examiner, they could just say, fuck it, I'm with Popo. Or you could have a crusader that say, no, that's fucked up. This is a homicide, in which they're going to look at them funny, It says the study underscores how deeply enmeshed systemic racism is in different aspects of life, including health. All right, we have to really sit back and say, what does this mean? What does this mean? The critical race theory scholar told the Post. They love saying critical race theory. In my mind, there is a deep-seated undercurrent of systemic racism to the point that a medical examiner doesn't have to declare that they're racist. The practices are already showing, and the racism is occurring not just during the encounter itself, but even after the individual has passed away. That's why. This is why we need a savior. And yet you got jakes that want to stay here and endure this shit for the sake of a good job. I got a house and land and my family. Continuing on, it says there's still acts of racism trying to hide the murder or the killing that occurred. All right, the study's author said forensic pathologists should be independent, and that's right, from law enforcement to avoid incorrectly identifying the cause of death due to outside pressures. Remember that case years and years ago about, what was it? Oh my goodness, the prison. Damn it. Even, oh man, well, they brought in the famous medical examiner, Michael Bowden. Oh, what prison was that? Attica. Yeah, the Attica prison rise. All right, and it turned out that they tried to sweep that under the rug, and he was brought in. He said, "No, this is a lot of this." Even the guard said he tried to blame it all on the prisoners. He said, "No, this is friendly fire." You know, well, this is a wicked, wicked, wicked. But what else do you expect? All right, if you're over here and you're our people, and you still expecting this devil to be other than what he is, you the one that got issues. It goes on to say, the study's authors, oh, anyway, I already read that. It said they also said the experts should be offered whistleblower protections so they can fully investigate police violence. And these are things that are so obvious that it's not like they didn't know this before now. They're just some wicked, crooked individuals that have been so used, remember that word, impunity. They've been so used to getting away with treating us how they did for so long. It's a shock. Man, we can't do this no more. Damn it. But just you wait. When you look up lynching, especially when it comes to the United States, and you go into Wikipedia, in that section, it tells you in all the times that there have been economic crisis here in this country, that's what they resort to. The people that can't defend themselves, us. And you'll see an increase in things of that nature, lynchings. All right, it says researchers found black people were 3.5 times more likely than white to be killed by police, and Latinos and Native Americans also faced higher rates. Now, isn't that a coincidence? Or is it? We're all the same people. Israelites. Latinos and Native Americans largely in the Northern Kingdom. And you've got so-called Negroes and those in the Caribbean, you know, down in Brazil, a lot of those, you know, by and large, Haiti, you know, that's Southern Kingdom, all right? And it says white people, it says Native Americans and Latinos and Native Americans also face higher rates of fatal violence at the hands of law enforcement. About 1 in every 1,000 black men in the United States is killed by police, a study found. 1 in every 1,000 men. And it's 300 and what? Roughly 40 million people in the U.S. Whoa. Systemic and direct racism manifested in laws and policies, as well as personal implicit biases, result in black, indigenous, and Hispanic Americans being the targets of police violence. Going back to what? Impunity. Lindo said the number of people dying at the hands of police highlights how this violence is a major public health problem. That is a mortality rate greater than the likelihood of you dying of riding your bicycle in the United States. Damn. And riding your bicycle is dangerous, he said. Yeah, I'm going to leave it right there for time's sake. It's not that, it's going into the numbers here. But, I mean, this is straight to the point. Cold hard numbers, cold hard facts. Again, all this highlights the fact that this is why we need a savior. We never could do it by ourselves. There's no amount of schools you can go to. None of this shit that's been told to us all these years. From the top of this, I told you, I explained to you, this is spiritual warfare. All right? This is how it was set up. He's created to be what he is, a piece of shit. This is who we're dealing with. All right? You can go to Habakkuk, 2nd chapter. All right? Verse 4 of that chapter says, the spirit that is within him is not upright. All right? Again, emphasizing this, he is the wicked. He is the physical representative. He is evil incarnate in the flesh. Hey, so with that, once again, this is by the Washington Post. This article addresses how these killings, where they try to sweep them up under the rug, all right, they were deliberately, we have been deliberately, I should say, misled as to the real number. They'll falsify reports, all right, buddies with the ME, the medical examiner, and they are misclassified. This is what we've always been up against. Nothing's changed. Nothing will change. That's why we need to get the hell up out of here. Once again, this is killings by police are undercounted by more than half out of Washington Post. All right, so hey, hope whoever views this edified. This is what we do here at Great Millstone. Filtering the events through the scriptures. All right, which is the way things should be done. All right, and if you do it that way, then you know, all right, that things are winding down and things are speeding up quickly. So this is more than any time ever to not be straddling the fence. All right, stay prayed up. All right, salutation to Yakim out there on the highways and byways, pushing this truth in all honesty and sincerity. Continue to do so. All right, pray for your brethren out there, because it's going to get worse. Hey, so with that, shalom.